What's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday. It is just after 2 when we're recording this today, and we're, I guess, about an hour away from the NFL playoffs. Everybody's going to be hunkered down and watching some TV and watching some NFL. But before we do, we wanted to jump on here real quick and address a couple things that happened today. One regarding one of the posts that we had, and a post that was published on someone else's page about Eastern Shore Undercover. We thought it was right that we should, address that issue and why it happened. So let's jump right in. We made a couple posts today. Some national breaking news. And one of those was an incident where 11 people were arrested from ICE. And a couple people, had their positive thoughts. Some had some negative thoughts. Regardless, your opinion is your opinion. We don't fault you for it either way, for or against. That's totally up to you. But there was one person in particular, and she went on our page and she started posting on every person's comment. F ICE, F the president, say her name, Renee Good, the whole 9 yards. Mostly about the Minnesota incident. And we removed all of them. We don't believe in any of that, and I'm not going to allow that on my page. I'm not one of those pages that are going to allow that and be spread all over my page and make my page look like we are against, certain values, which we are not. So I removed them all, and I sent her a nice cordial message, said, please don't do that anymore. If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to share our post and put it on your page and say whatever you want. But here on Eastern Shore Undercover, we're not going to put that propaganda out there. And we're not going to go against law enforcement and our first responders. Just not going to do that. So I asked her, politely, please don't do it again. And she basically told me to go pound sand. And she went back and started doing the same exact thing again. At what point, I'm not going to put up with that. I just clicked the button, got rid of her, and then got rid of all of her comments. Well, in turn, she went on and made a post on her personal page. And she made it as if we just got rid of her because we were not allowing her to, voice her opinion, and we took away her free speech. Biggest headache I have is people thinking about free speech. I run a private business. It's a news page where I, share news with my friends and family. And if you want to follow that page, you're more than welcome to. You're not required to. You're not obligated to. But if you want to be here, you're more than welcome to be here. We welcome everybody. You don't have to be a Trump supporter. You don't have to be, someone that agrees with our government. You don't have to agree with our admin. But if you're going to be here, all we ask is that you play by the rules. So what happened? You have to forgive me. I'm trying to get over this cold. I still have this cough. My voice is still messed up. Excuse me. So we put up that article today, and there are some people in there that were saying, we don't support what they did in Minnesota. And the very first arrest that is listed in that article is a murder. So, for me, it's common sense. I don't want a murderer living next door to me. Under no circumstances. I don't care if he's a U.S. citizen. I don't care if he's from Mexico, Russia, Venezuela. I don't care where he's from. If he is a murderer and he is wanted in our community, I want him removed from our community. Period. There should be no, but what about this or what about that? I don't care about that. If that man is danger to society and he is a danger to my family and your family, he should be removed. It does, regardless of what his nationality is, regardless of the color of his skin, regardless of if he is a man or a woman, doesn't matter. He is a individual who was wanted for murder. There are people on there that were wanted for multiple assaults. There are people that were wanted for domestic assaults. One individual had 24 arrests, and he was here illegally. Excuse me. So naturally, those individuals should be removed from our community. That is my opinion. That is Eastern Shore Undercover's opinion. I don't want to have any confusion out there. A lot of people were saying, well, what is your opinion on this and what is your opinion on that? And you've got friends that are this and that. Yes, I do. And I've been on many podcasts, and I've done many interviews with various different people. And I've always said, I have no problem with people coming to this country. I have no problem with the men and women that are out there working hard, trying to earn a living for their family. Excuse me. If they're coming to this country and they're doing it the right way, then by all means, welcome you here, you know, with open arms. But those individuals who are here in our community and wanted for heinous crimes have no reason to be here, and they need to go. And I will support ICE, and I will support our first responders, our law enforcement, on every degree of that. What we're seeing in Minnesota is horrific. It's horrible. And part of that is because of the administration and what this administration has done and what they are allowing and what they are putting out there. If you watch the video with Governor Waltz the other day, he's basically telling the Minnesotans to, stand proud for what you're doing. Well, you're fighting with law enforcement. You shouldn't feel proud about that. These guys aren't doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. Let's talk about this Renee Good incident for a second. There's a lot of people out here that are like, well, say her name. She's such an innocent person. No, she's not. No, she's not. She tried to run over an ICE agent. Period. It should stop there, but it doesn't. Because what happens is people want to embellish it and they want to say, well, she was innocent and she had a family, and they're showing pictures of her on the internet where she got long flowing blonde hair and she's a beautiful woman, but they're not showing her what she looks like now, where she's shaved her head, and she's literally going out purposely with the meaning to block ICE agents from doing their job. And in this particular incident, not only was she trying to prevent them from doing her job, she tried to commit a murder. She tried to run over a law enforcement officer. And I don't care what you say about it. That is the issue. Many people that have reached out to us, whether it's been through a direct message or a comment on the page, and asked us about it. And I've referred everybody back to the Baltimore County incident. It's about 3 or 4 years ago, and the young lady's name was Amy Cap. I think it's Amy Caprio, and she was a Baltimore County police officer, and she tragically lost her life. She chased a group of juveniles down into a cul-de-sac, and there was a Jeep, and the young boy was 16 years old, and he ran right into her. She was out of her vehicle. She was pointing her weapon at the vehicle, and she did not shoot. Or maybe she did shoot, but she didn't hit him. And he ran her over, and he took her life. That's the alternate aspect of what happens if those ICE agents didn't fire their weapons. Amy Caprio, God rest her soul, was the ICE agent, but she was a Baltimore County police officer. She lost her life the same way this officer, the same situation that he was put in. The only difference, and this isn't second, money morning quarterbacking anyone. The only difference is he acted a little bit quicker, and he took the life of that lady. Now, many people have reached out and said, well, what about Mike Lewis? What about his comments? What he said? I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to say, what he said was right. I made my opinion about Michelle Gregory. I feel that a leader shouldn't talk that way. I don't think there's a reason for any leader in our community, and that includes Donald Trump, to use F-bombs. And, I being upfront and honest with everybody, I'm not friends with Mike Lewis on social media. As everybody knows, we did not get along. So I did not see his post. The only part of the post that I saw was on the WBOC interview. Mr. Kyle Orms did an interview, and it scrolled down, and it showed the before and the after. I don't agree with what he said, but I understand what he was trying to accomplish and what he was trying to say. Doesn't make it right. Let's be clear about that. I don't agree with what he said, after he fixed the wording, apparently there was a second post that was made, or he corrected the first one. I don't know exactly how it went, but the second post is now basically saying that she was to blame, and I do agree with Sheriff Lewis. Renee Good was responsible for that incident. No one is to blame for her death, with the exception of Renee Good. And her family has come out and said that. Her friends have come out and said that. Look, you can't go to these places, these incidents, put on a protest, and then get in front of law enforcement officers, and then attempt to run over a law enforcement officer, and not expect repercussions from that. What happened, and it's very unfortunate for her family. I do feel for her family, um, but she's the only one to blame in that situation. Last thing, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to be real long. We're a couple minutes in here. Um, a lot of people have been coming on saying, "Oh, you take away people's rights. You do this. It's the same old horse and pony show." Look, I don't take away people's rights. You can say whatever you want. Just don't come at me, and don't come at me complaining about what we will allow and what we don't allow. Because if you complain about the page, I'm just going to get rid of you. I don't need any more people on the page who are going to cause problems. We are now at 196,000 followers. We're gaining like 1,000 followers every 2 days. It's pretty crazy. It's amazing. And it's not only on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on X, Instagram. We're growing everywhere. So I don't have the patience and I don't have the tolerance to sit around and sit here and argue with people anymore. When we had 50,000 followers, even when we had 100,000 followers, I would get on and I would go back and forth with people. Unfortunately, I don't have that time anymore. We are super, super busy. We're dealing with millions of engagements. And it's not like we're dealing with thousands of engagements anymore. We're now dealing with millions of engagements each and every day, various different platforms. We also have the website. Keep in mind, we put all of our posts on the website now. So it's turning to a full-time job that keeps us very, very busy. I'm not going to allow anybody on this page that's going to cause me headaches. If you cost me my peace, it's going to take away your presence. And that's just the bottom line. I don't care what you think of me personally. I'm here to provide you with news of what's happening in our community and across our nation, and if it affects people here on the Eastern Shore. And if you like that, great. And if you don't, there's an unfollow button. Just click it and move on. If I see you on the street, I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. I'm going to shake your hand just like you were still following my page. I do not care if you want to follow my page or don't want to follow my page. That's up to you. I want you to be peaceful in your life. No social media page should cause anyone any grief. Use it for what it's worth. If people don't like seeing the comments on our page, we've got a nice website now where people can just go over there and look at the news that's happening here locally. You don't have to see any comments. It takes away all the headaches for me, my wife, and provides you with some more peace as well. So that's all I got for today, folks. I wanted to jump on here again, like I said, and address these, mishaps that have happened and posts that were put out there that claim that Earl's the devil, and I very well may be, but I don't take away your voice. You have that right to put it on your page anytime you want. You're just not going to put it on mine. So that's all. We're going to get ready to watch some football here in about, I guess about an hour. Chicago Bears come on at 6 o'clock, I think it is, 6 p.m. And you all know where I will be. Lifelong Chicago Bears fan. And I don't get these opportunities very often to see my team play in the playoffs. It's going to be cold. They did down in the single digits. And here, they're saying the weather forecasters are saying we're going to get some snow here shortly. But I'm looking at my window and I'm just seeing rain. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday. God bless you. I love you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.